The thing that follows rules. I moved into a basement suite because it was cheap. That should have been my first mistake. The place was small, low ceilings, one window, but it was quiet. Too quiet. The landlord gave me the key and one piece of advice. Just follow the rules. I laughed, thought he was joking. He wasn't. He handed me a paper. 3 rules. 1. Don't open the door between 2 to 3 a.m. 2. If you hear knocking, ignore it. 3. Do not look outside. That was it. No explanation. I almost didn't take the place, but rent was low, so I stayed. The first few nights were normal. Nothing happened. I started to forget about the rules. Until one night, I woke up. 2:14 a.m. I don't know why, just suddenly awake. Then I heard it. Knocking. Soft, slow, from the front door. I froze, remembering the paper. I stayed in bed, didn't move. The knocking continued, then stopped. Silence. For a moment, I thought it was over. Then I heard the handle, turning, slowly. But I knew I locked it. I heard the door open, just slightly. A creak. Then footsteps, inside, walking through my apartment. I couldn't see anything from my room, but I could hear it. Moving, stopping, then moving again, like it was searching. Then it stopped, right outside my door. I held my breath. Then I heard it, whispering, right through the door. Wrong choice. My chest tightened. I didn't respond, didn't move. After a while, the footsteps started again, moving away. Then silence. I stayed awake until morning. When I checked the door, it was still locked. No sign of anything. I told myself I imagined it. Until the next night. 2 a.m. Knocking again. Louder this time. More aggressive. I stayed in bed, ignoring it. Then I heard something new. A voice from outside. Open it. I didn't. The knocking got louder, faster, then stopped suddenly, and everything went quiet. Too quiet. I made a mistake. I looked at the window, just for a second, and I saw it. Standing outside, looking in, smiling. The next morning, the paper was on my bed. One more rule added. 4. You looked. I'm still here, still following the rules, because I think it's still giving me a chance. But the knocking, it's getting louder, and it's starting earlier every night. The late night call center. I worked at a call center that ran 24/7. Night shifts were dead. Maybe 1 or 2 calls an hour. Most of the time, you just sat there, waiting. One night, around 3 a.m., I got a call. No caller ID. I answered like usual. Thank you for calling. Silence. Then breathing. Slow. Steady. I asked if they needed help. No response. Just breathing. Then the line cut. I shrugged it off. Happens sometimes. A few minutes later, another call. Same thing. No ID. I answered. Breathing again. But closer this time. like right into the mic. Then a whisper. "Can you hear me?" I hesitated. "Yes?" There was a pause. Then the voice said something that made my stomach drop. "Good. It's working." The call ended. I checked the system. No number logged. No record of the call. Like it never happened. I tried to ignore it, but then the calls started coming faster. Every few minutes. Each time, the voice got clearer. Closer. More aware. Until finally, one call came through. And instead of silence, I heard typing. Keyboard clicks. Then the voice. "You're at desk 14. I froze. Slowly looked around. That was my desk. "How do you—" "Don't hang up," it said. My hand tightened on the phone. "Why?" Another pause. Then, "Because I'm not calling you." The line went quiet. Then I heard something behind me. A phone ringing. In the empty office. I turned slowly. One of the unused desks. The phone was ringing. I looked back at my headset. Still connected. Still on the call. The voice came again. From both phones now. "You answered." The lights flickered. I hung up. Everything stopped. Dead silent. I never took another night shift. But sometimes, my phone rings. No ID. And I don't answer anymore. The rental car. I rented a car for a weekend trip. Nothing fancy, just something cheap and reliable. The first day was fine. Drove normally, no issues. But that night, something weird happened. I parked outside my hotel, locked the car, went inside. A few minutes later, I got a notification from the car's app. Vehicle unlocked. I frowned. Thought it was a glitch. Checked the app. It showed the doors open. I went back outside. The car was locked, lights off, everything normal. I shrugged it off, went to bed. The next morning, I got in the car, started driving. About 10 minutes in, I noticed something. The rear view mirror. It was angled differently, pointing slightly lower, like someone adjusted it. I fixed it, kept driving. Then I heard something. A soft sound. From the back seat. Like shifting. I glanced back. Nothing there. Just my bag. I laughed it off. Road noise. But then it happened again. Closer. I looked in the mirror. And for a split second, I saw someone. Sitting in the back. I turned around instantly. Nothing. Empty. I pulled over, checked the car. Back seats, trunk, everything. Nothing there. I got back in, started driving again, trying to ignore it. Then the radio turned on. Static. Then a voice. Low. Distorted. "You left me." I slammed the brakes. The car stopped. Dead. Engine off. Everything off. I sat there, heart racing. Then the rear door unlocked. Slow click. Behind me. I didn't turn around. Didn't move. After a few seconds, the door closed. On its own. The The car started again, like nothing happened. I returned it early, didn't explain why. But when I checked the rental history, there was a note from the previous driver. Something sits in the back.
The night cleaner. I took a job cleaning an office building overnight because it paid more and I didn't have to deal with people. The building was 6 floors, mostly empty after 7 p.m. By the time my shift started, everyone was gone. Lights dimmed, computers off, just rows of empty desks and long, quiet hallways. The first week was fine, almost peaceful. Then I started noticing something strange. Every night, when I reached the 4th floor, one office light would already be on. Same room, same desk. But I knew for a fact I turned it off the night before. At first, I thought I was forgetting. So one night, I made sure. I went into that office, turned off the light, and stood there for a moment, just staring at the switch, making sure it was off. Then I left, finished the rest of my shift. The next night, it was on again. That's when it started bothering me. So I decided to check the cameras. There was one pointed directly at that hallway. I rewound the footage. Fast-forwarded to around 2 a.m. Nothing. Empty hallway. Then suddenly, the light turned on. No one entered. No one moved. It just turned on. I leaned closer to the screen. Something felt wrong, so I kept watching. A few seconds later, the door opened. Slowly. From the inside. I felt a chill run down my back. There shouldn't have been anyone in there. No movement on camera, no entry. Just the door opening. Then it stopped. Halfway. Like something was standing behind it. I paused the footage, zoomed in, and I saw it. A shape, just inside the doorway. Too dark to make out clearly, but definitely there, standing, watching the hallway, watching where I would be. I closed the footage immediately. Told myself it was a glitch. Had to be. That night, I avoided the 4th floor. Stayed on the lower levels longer than I should have. But eventually, I had to go up. I took the stairs, slowly, trying not to make noise. When I reached the 4th floor, the hallway was dark. No light from that office. For a second, I felt relieved. Maybe it stopped. Maybe it was nothing. Then I heard it. A click. Behind me. I turned. The office light was on again. The door was open. Fully open now. And the hallway felt colder. Heavier. Like the air had changed. I stood there, staring. Then I saw movement. Inside the room. Something shifting. Stepping forward. But not fully into the light. Just enough to see it wasn't human. The proportions were wrong. Too tall. Arms too long. It stopped at the doorway, then leaned slightly, like it was trying to see me better. I didn't wait. I turned and walked fast, then ran down the stairs. Didn't finish my shift. Didn't go back. A few days later, I got a call asking why I quit. I didn't explain everything, just said I wasn't comfortable. There was a pause. Then the manager said something that still doesn't sit right with me. That floor's been closed for renovations. I asked what he meant. He said, "There shouldn't be power up there at all." The hotel room next door. I was staying in a hotel for work, just a few nights. Nothing fancy, just a basic place near the highway. The first night was normal, quiet. I got to my room, unpacked, and went to bed early. Sometime in the night, I woke up. Not fully, just enough to notice something. A sound. Through the wall. The room next door. It sounded like someone moving furniture, dragging something heavy across the floor. Slow. Repeated. I checked the time. 2:18 a.m. I rolled over, trying to ignore it. But it kept going. Same pattern. Drag, pause, drag. After a while, it stopped, and everything went quiet again. The next morning, I didn't think much of it. Hotels are noisy. People move around. But when I stepped into the hallway, I noticed something strange. The room next to mine was sealed. There was a strip across the door, a notice, out of service. I frowned. Maybe they just closed it that morning. I went about my day. Came back that night. Everything looked the same. But around 2 a.m., the sound started again. Dragging. Same rhythm. Same spot. I sat up this time, listening, trying to figure out what it was. Then, it changed. The dragging stopped, and I heard footsteps. Slow. Walking. Right up to the wall. Right next to my bed. Then, silence. Then, a knock. From the other side of the wall. 3 times. I didn't move. Didn't respond. A few seconds passed. Then the knock came again. Same pattern. Like it was waiting. I stayed completely still. Eventually, it stopped. The next day, I asked the front desk about that room. The woman looked confused, then uncomfortable. She said, "That room hasn't been used in a long time." I told her I heard someone in there. She shook her head. No one's been in that room for months. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed awake, watching the wall, waiting. 2:18 a.m., right on time. The dragging started again. But this time, it was louder, closer. Then the footsteps, right up to the wall. Then the knock, 3 times. But this time, I made a mistake. I knocked back, just once. Silence. Then, a response. 3 knocks, from my side of the wall, inside my room, right behind me. The parking garage level. I park in the same underground garage every day. 3 levels. Nothing special. Concrete, low ceilings, dim lights. But one night, I stayed late at work. By the time I got to the garage, it was empty. Completely empty. No cars, no people. Just rows of spaces and flickering lights. I walked to my car on level 2, unlocked it, got in, started the engine. Then I noticed something. The dashboard clock flickered, reset, then came back. But the time was wrong. 2:07 a.m. That wasn't possible. It was earlier than that. I shrugged it off, put the car in reverse, started backing out. Then the radio turned on. Static. Loud. I turned it off immediately. But as I did, I saw something in the mirror. Movement. Behind the car. I hit the brakes, looked back. Nothing there. Empty garage. I exhaled. Told myself it was nothing. Started driving toward the exit.
The ramp down to level 1 curved slightly. As I turned, I noticed something. The sign. It didn't say level 1. It said level 0. I frowned. There was no level 0, but I was already driving down. The lighting changed, darker, more spaced out, and the air felt still, like no one had been there in a long time. I slowed down, looking around. The spaces were empty, dustier, like they hadn't been used. Then I saw a car, parked at the far end, alone. I don't know why, but I kept driving toward it, slowly. As I got closer, I realized something. It was my car. Same color, same plate. Parked, engine off. I stopped, staring at it. Then something moved inside. A figure, sitting in the driver's seat, looking straight ahead. I felt my hands tighten on the wheel. Then the figure turned and looked at me. And it was me, smiling. The lights flickered. My car shut off. Everything went dark. When the lights came back, I was back on level 2, alone, engine running, like nothing happened. I don't park there anymore, but sometimes, when I drive at night, my clock flickers and resets to 2:07.